Machi is my name, and you're welcome to my channel. Today I'll be talking about the Edo gubernatorial election that will be coming forth towards the end of this year. So I'm not the only one that will be talking about this. I have people that will be involved in this discussion. So by my left is Barrister Aguyego. Next to him is Mr. Armstrong, then Barrister Tony. On my right is Barrister Ernest. So they are going to be involved. They are going to discuss the issue of the Edo gubernatorial election coming forth the end of this year. So you're welcome to this channel, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we all know that there have been power tussles in respect of this election that's coming forth towards the end of this year. Even up to the extent that we have several court litigations in respect of this issue. So I don't know if we're aware of this. Pastor Ize-Iyamu defecting to APC, do you think it would help him win the political seats?
Well, I think from the onset, his defection from one party to another portrays that lack of political ideology in the life of Nigerian politicians. Lack of principles. There's no good motive. It's all personal, selfish interest. The interest of the people does not care, does not matter so much. Otherwise, somebody will want to ask. Just a few moments you're in one party. You share in the aspiration and the ideology of that particular party. In the next moment, you're in the next party. You have followers. What were your principles? What is the ideology behind your defecting from one party to another? What is it that you now think that your former party, they lack, that you think the next party now is supposed to be your new home and where you now pitch your tent? I think it's all boiled down in selfishness, and there's no justifiable reason for such defection. And it's affecting him now. And that is what I believe. If he had remained with his former party and appreciate the positions and wish to now go for that ticket, governorship ticket, I think he will be in a better position. And people, his supporters, will have a firm grip of his position. As far as I'm concerned, it's nothing but political prostitution.
Well, is there anything wrong in defecting to another party?
Something fundamentally wrong is that politics is not an issue of jumping from one party to another at any moment in time. Politics, true politics, is built upon ideology. What you believe, what you want your people, how you intend to govern your people. It's not an issue of, if A is not good for me today, I will jump to B. If B is not good for me, it means all boiled down what we are doing is purely selfish interest, not carrying the people along. So like I said, it's lack of political ideology, and that's the fundamental error.
Barrister Aguyego, please, can you just come into this? Do you think there is anything wrong with Pastor Ize-Iyamu defecting to another party?
Well, I think this discussion should be based on personal opinion. As a matter of fact, in the Nigerian political history, I think the problem we have in this country is that we do not have a clear-cut political ideologies. When you say we have 4, 2, 3 political parties in Nigeria, even up to 100 and something they have now, go into their party constitution. Basically, there is no single difference. All the so-called political parties in Nigeria, their ideology remains one, and that is why this issue of party cross-carpeting or deflection has remained with us for a very long time. So, coming to Ize-Iyamu issue, I think personally, I think his deflection is not right at this material time, considering so many factors. I knew, I'm very sure, before 2014, he was a very known senior member of the APC. For reasons, he deflected to PDP, and on PDP platform, I think he made a very serious mark during last election, which up to date, he was then acclaimed to be the winner of that election. Let's forget what happens afterwards. So, at this material time, putting the time frame factor towards the election, for him at this time to say he's deflecting, it was a very wrong calculation.
Constitutionally, is there anything wrong with him defecting from party A to party B? Constitutionally.
As a matter of fact, constitutionally, there is nothing wrong with that. That was the foundation I laid earlier, that all the various political parties in Nigeria, we do not have clear-cut ideologies. They are just one, with different names. So, and from antecedents, politicians over time have deflected, and nothing had happened. So constitutionally, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, well, let's go to Governor Obaseki. Governor Obaseki. And Barrister Tony, do you think that Governor Obaseki being disqualified from APC, do you think it was a good move to have disqualified him?
Well, if I'm to answer that question, we have to look at what led to his disqualification and critically analyze it. I will start by casting our minds back to 2016, when Governor Obaseki first came into power, by the single predatory motive of Adams Oshomole. When he came on board and he was about to contest for the Edostate governorship election, he swore to affidavit, first of all, that he had lost all his certificates, of which he now brought the minimum requirement as what is required for anybody that wants to contest the election, which is the WAEC and NECO certificates, school set, of which upon that he was cleared. Now, based on the, I haven't done well so far, but I must say he first of all did very well. He has done so well in this first tenure of his. Now, because of the issues, the battles and the trajectory tussles between the national chairman of the party, President of Edostate, Ali Oshomole, and his humble self, the governor of Edostate, when coming again for screening, he, I don't know, made certain presentations which was contradictory to what was meant.
Why do you say contradictory? When you use that word contradictory?
Why is it contradictory? You know, before, he had said in his affidavit, first he lost his certificates. Later when he came, he brought out all his certificates, including his BSc, his NYC, discharge certificates, and you know, all whatnot. Then, also in his affidavits, from the information I gathered so far, he said he graduated from the university in 1976. Now, his certificate that he brought and presented to school was bearing that he graduated in 1979, showing a certain level of contradiction. Also, in his NYC certificate, all the certificates bears Obaseki, but his NYC certificate has a missing letter, the I, meaning his name now is now no more Obaseki, is now Obasek, that is being born on the NYC certificate. And based on that, to me, I'm speaking objectively, from a reasonable man's point of view, they saw that there are a lot of contradictions and they were not too sure of, you know, the credentials of this man based on what he was presenting as at that point in time, as against what he presented before, and based on that he was disqualified. Yes, if not for the present tussles between the national chairman and the governor himself, we would have said objectively, oh, this was a wonderful, that the screening committee did everything unbiased. But based on what is going on, a lot of eyes have been raised. But for me, objectively, if I'm to say from a reasonable point of view, the screening committee did what they ought to do by making sure they follow the rules and showing that they clear all contradictions and all. They had to do what they had to do by not qualifying him.
Are you saying that during his first tenure,
Yes.
that he didn't present any certificates?
No,
or any
he
documents?
presented his SSC certificate, that's the minimum requirements, and wrote an affidavit that he had lost all his certificates. Now, the issue now is not whether he bought all the certificates, having stated an affidavit, after something lost can still be found. But other contradictions, like a time when he graduated, and you know in law, lying on oath is an offense called perjury.
Okay.
That alone too is also an element of which the screening committee saw, and they said no, that they don't want to present a candidate that has these contradictions, that people will have certain doubts and thinking, and of course they want to present a credible candidate that will have little or no blemish,
Alright.
especially when the other opposite party have their eyes watching like hawks on them to get in on the catch.
Alright. So thank you very much, Barrister Tony. Barrister Ines, do you have anything to say?
Well, as the truth of the matter is that something is fundamentally wrong with internal democracy of APC. You cannot blow hot and cold.
Yes.
Few years ago, you presented Obaseki as a clean man. You accepted whatever he presented. You interviewed him, you screened him, and you found him worthy. In fact, you sold him to the mind of the people. Now, 4 years back, the same house is telling us a different ballgame. Particularly the key players. I will make you, I will make you. The story is all over the place. Is it that the entire APC are having problem, or is it a personality clash? But in this case, the entire thing centered between Comrade Adams Oshomole and Obaseki. Next slide. As far as I'm concerned, the entire process of internal democracy of APC, something is wrong. And the heads, the people that play, the key players, the chairman and the governors believe exactly what we are saying. If the chairman, who actually from nowhere, from the blue, brought Obaseki from the beginning, presented it to the Edolites as the anointed son, sing all good music about him, they did not dictate there was I in any document. They did not see anything wrong with the affidavit sworn. For them to come, the same person, not even the same person to come back 4 years to tell Nigerians that this is that. And there is much to question. So as far as I'm concerned, like one of us rightly said, political greed, political godfatherism, everything. I want to dictate what happened in the state, irrespective of the feelings of the people. Come to think of it, if you look at the administrations, it's no longer the people's-oriented program we're talking about. The moment you're able to satisfy your godfathers, you can remain in any seat as long as you want. So in this case, I don't consider the issue of disqualification. I don't see anything being disqualified. It is only the power play between the chairman of APC, national chairman of APC, and the government. And that what is at play. Not actually because the governor himself has a defective document. Otherwise, it means both the APC, if that's the case, both the APC should be actually done for fraud. Because they deceived the people from the beginning to say this man.
I'm sorry, sir. Let me come in. There was something Barrister Tony said. He said at his initial term, the first term, that his documents were not presented.
Yes.
That he swore to affidavit that he lost his certificate,
Okay.
of which
Exactly.
he presented his SSCE. That is the minimum, which is the minimum requirements for it.
Yes.
So if the documents were initially not presented, don't you think they're actually doing their job by disqualifying? Now seeing that this document, see, I'm seeing some defects in the document.
No, from the facts available to me as a person, I never got to understand that to that extent, because during screening, internal democracy to the INEC, most of all these things are already done. Obaseki even said it, that I cannot lay hand on my certificate, but they needed something to show at that material time that he actually passed SSC or he had any certificate. By Nigerian constitution, when you talk about certificate, it was not even defined that it must be SSC, it must be GC, it must be whatever. But you must have a certificate. At that material time, he deposed an affidavit of missing certificate. Subsequently, he found that. So the idea now, even the APC, they have not actually informed Nigerians or Edolites. Look at exactly the offense of this man as per the certificate. Or it is now we are discovering that he was not even a graduate.
No, sir. What you're saying is that his certificates are defective. That there was a particular certificate that carries Obaseki instead of Obaseki.
That is, yes.
Invariably, meaning that it's not the same person.
Have they verified?
I think
See, my worry about that statement is, at what point in time did you discover this? Is it now, or you discovered it after the first verification? Because if not that he has a problem with the chairman, I don't think this issue will arise. That is my conclusion.
All right. Okay.
sorry. I will want to ask a question here, and that is the question that I think most persons in Edo State will have in mind, and that is, if he had brought SSC certificate at the initial stage, why bring an additional certificate when the minimum requirement
It's not even specified.
is SSC? I think there is more to it,
More to it than
than we, the ordinary man in the streets, are not aware of. And like Barrister Ernest said, they've not actually told us the thing that is involved. If you say the man has defects in spelling of name, in the discharge certificate, in the NYSC discharge certificate, did he go to school? Did he serve? These are the questions we should ask. If he went to school, which school did he attend? If he attended that school, which year did he graduate? Does it tally with the year that is written in the certificate? And now, if he was discharged from NYSC, is there proof that he actually served this nation? These are the questions that most of us in Edo State were asking, and we've not been able to get the answers. And this, I think, the Action Congress, or what they call the APC, should tell Nigerians, and especially the Edo State people.
When this error was so discovered, what step did the committee members of the screening took to probe further whether it was a human error or it was a deliberate act? I'm sure that step was not taken.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Okay.
So what I want to conclude is that that screening result was, they came up to that conclusion in a jiffy. It was so hurried over, and I believe there was a mistake there.
Sorry, sir. Let me just chip in. Chip in. You see, when we were considering this issue of screening, and if you look at the method adopted, that screening was actually planned for the downfall of Obaseki.
How did you know it was?
Now, I want to tell you how. The reason is simple. If SSC, it's not even SSC, school certificate, by the provision of the Constitution, is the minimum, is the maximum qualification or whatever. Now, by your, this is an internal thing, their own thing,
Yes.
not to the outside. So the first certificate he presented, whatever, qualifies him.
Yes. So why going for it?
Now, this second time, the man said, I have found that my documents. If something is not wrong, if you don't want to kill a dog by giving him a bad name, if you discover that in your in-house, why not say, there's a problem with this. We don't even need your all this excess one.
Yes.
Because this one is now, but somebody, somewhere, or a group of persons has decided that we want to bring him down at all cost.
Yes.
For that reason, we are looking for where there is Obaseki and whatever. As far as I'm concerned, it is a coup planned to pull the man out of the system. And it's boomeranging because none of them is enjoying the game.
Yes, so the game has.
But so you know that the law is not biased. When you go to court and you say Obaseki and Obaseki before the eyes of the law, you know that they are not the same.
So the issue of law does not arise in this case.
Well,
For now,
they weren't in a law
it is
court.
in the internal party, it is internal house. The issue that arose was the same people that cleared this man is saying that, he presented for that certificate and will discover a discrepancy. It's the same people blowing hot and cold at the same time. So what they would have done, if actually they were in an internal squabble, there's no serious problem. My friend, we don't need this certificate. This is your degree and whatever. The minimum requirement is this, and that solves the problem. Because it's there.
Okay.
No, sir. I haven't listened to my learned senior. There's a places I agree with you. There's a places I beg to differ. Differ in the sense that, okay, I've understood what they said. Really, like what I said earlier, if not for the struggle of power between the national chairman and the governor, definitely we would have maybe seen, okay, this committee, they were doing the right thing. But now I want to actually ask a question. Now, as you have said, sir, okay, the Obaseki, the immunity of the eye and all that, there are minute errors that can be overlooked. How about the affidavit sworn by Governor Obaseki stating he graduated in 1976 and certificate saying 1979?
Okay.
The issue of perjury, does that also go to a certain level or to substantiate certain discrepancy?
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Okay, the question, that
Sir,
question.
please,
is-
sorry,
go
sir.
ahead,
Please, do you
yes.
want to?
Yes.
With let me say, all modesty. If I deposed to an affidavit that I graduated in 1976, also it could be an error. Anybody can make a mistake. The fact is that the document speaks for itself. If I made a deposition and I brought the certificate, the document speaks for itself. That deposition, there is some chances that it could be an error, omission.
Typographical error.
It could be. So I believe that, assuming he said he graduated in 1976 and the certificate itself is bearing another year, what to make a reference to the institution that issued that certificate to find out the true position, whether that certificate is correct or is wrong. So, like Barrister Ernest Okeke has earlier said, I believe it is issue of power tussle between the national chairman and the state governor Obaseki, whom the people of the state believe has performed very well, and he deserves a second term.
But, sir,
In addition to that,
Okay.
someone who deposed to an affidavit, knowing fully well what was written there, and then he brings a certificate, seeing the date written in the certificate, does that not tell you that the man actually knows what is happening? Now, if I if I had gone to swear on oath that I finished school in 1970, and then I bring a certificate, saying the certificate with the date 1972, and I still bring it, most probably there is something wrong somewhere. Typographical error could be on the sworn affidavit because that was typed, but this certificate was given by the school from a particular year to year.
I just want to make much comment about the issue of affidavit. I've not seen anyone. So he's just emanating from him. I don't know if he's a member of the committee. I don't know if he was part of the people that screened the man. So by saying that there was an affidavit, well, I leave it at that because as far as I'm concerned, I don't have anyone and I cannot make any deduction from that. But be that as it may, my own stand is, if the man has presented the minimum qualification during the past 4 years screening, and something happened now, it's an in-house mechanism. It's not the INEC now, it's in-house. And somebody is saying that this person is fraudulent because of this. The same person, that's the most painful thing, the same person that championed the cause of this man. If it were maybe another panel that is doing this, maybe another party, you say, yes, this shows that they actually want to display honesty and integrity. They are trying to make sure that all their members stand out. But it is the same party that fronted this man 4 years ago, from the same house that you are telling us that this man has so thing.
Well, probably they are trying to correct their mistakes.
So,
No.
so I think the people I blame mostly is they don't like, they say when two elephant fights, the ground suffers. They are using the Edolites, they consider them as people that they don't have their own thinking. Anybody can manipulate you and tell you this is how it should be, and that's how it should be.
Well, sir, is it Edolite in general? It's not just Nigerians. Most Nigerians.
No, what is happening in Edo, you get the point. We agree. You get the point? Because what is happening in Edo, one way or the other, has actually happened in some other states. So, but by and large, to tell you the kind of politicians we have, and that is what is destroying this country. No one is talking about. We are talking about before now ideology. Is there any political party in this country that has manifesto?
Do they understand
Have
what
it.
it
The politicians.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for chatting with me, and you people have enlightened me. There are so many things I now know. So many things. I believe that even the viewers, I believe you've learned one or two things. So thank you very much for coming to chat with me and talking about the Edo gubernatorial election. Please kindly like, subscribe, and comment in respect of this particular topic and discussion. So if you think that the election is going to be rigged, please let us know. If you think that APC at the end will win this election, still let us know. If you think it's going to be another party, still let us know. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Catch you next time. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you.